All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We got a Detroit Lions defensive film study in this video. 38-30 on the road, upset victory over the Baltimore Ravens on Monday night. It was a great game, and I know they technically gave up 30 points, but this was a defensive masterclass. They had 7 sacks. They had like 30 quarterback pressures, a couple of forced fumbles. They truly did a phenomenal job against Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. And here on the Lions channel, we're about to do a defensive film study, breaking it all down. So let's get into it. All right, guys, let's jump right into it. We're talking about a Tyreek Williams, Jack Campbell run stop here. Now, the whole just kind of preface, and like I said, we're going to go through just so many defensive clips in this video. We'll probably do offense at some point, so hit the like button and stay tuned further on in the week. But Derrick Henry was held in check. The whole Baltimore Ravens offense was held in check, and you're going to see it today. Tyreek Williams and Jack Campbell specifically had an unbelievable football game. He was, one of the best, if not the best defensive player out there on the field. 8 total tackles. He had a sack and a forced fumble that we'll show you in a few clips. Sniffs out this run, just gets downhill, and just tackles Derrick Henry. And I think Tyreek right here, number 91, does a really good job of holding frame and winning this line of scrimmage. The Detroit Lions defensive line consistently won the line of scrimmage and did not allow Derrick Henry or Lamar to abuse him in any fashion. One thing we noticed 1 week ago against Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears was the quarterback spy, specifically Derek Barnes being the quarterback spy. And we saw that in a multitude of different instances this past, or actually last night, less than 24 hours at the time of this recording, where Derek Barnes was operating as a quarterback spy. Now they're going to fake the screen pass here, and you've got 4 rushers. All 4 rushers on the defensive line for Detroit's going to be rushing. Lamar Jackson quickly breaks this off into a run. There's like 3 wide receivers over on this side of the field. There's like 3 dudes, now I think maybe even 4 with the running back running in motion. But anyways, Lamar Jackson sees some open grass and he wants to run it, and Derek Barnes does a phenomenal job of allowing that to not happen. They let him go east-west the whole football game. They did not allow him to go north-south. And when Lamar tried to get downfield, you saw so many players come to the football. We've got Jack Campbell here, but Derek Barnes being the spy. Jack Campbell also comes down. They did not allow Lamar to go north-south. This was a really big moment for the Detroit Lions defense, because you're going to see the following snap after this is the Jack Campbell, DJ Reed forced fumble. But it's the 2-minute warning. It's 3rd and 1. Baltimore ultimately ends up going for the 4th down. Like I said, we'll show you the clip right after this. Now, Baltimore did this quick. Zach Cunningham, the player I just highlighted, number 52, I'll show this play before we break it down. Zach Cunningham played 2 snaps in this football game. It was this play and the play right before it. He had 2 total tackles. Now, there's a lot of stuff that I love in this specific clip. First off, Al-Qadim Muhammad winning his rep and getting there, number 96. And then we've got number 46 over here, who does a phenomenal job, Jack Campbell, of setting the edge. All right, they're trying to, this is a little bit of a sweep to the right. They're trying to get to the edge. Jack Campbell sets it and does not let that happen. And then obviously number 52, Zach Cunningham, who first off sends Kohler, the tight end, into Brian Branch. And then goes and gets this tackle. I mean, it's almost funny watching this in real time. I didn't even notice it right away. I had to scroll it down and watch in like slow-mo on it, almostly, because he so seamlessly just tosses Kohler and he falls right into Brian Branch. But Zach Cunningham, 2 total snaps in this football game, and he really kills it here on a goal line stop for this Lions defense. So we've got the very next play. It's 4th and 2, 14-7 Detroit. Unfortunately, Detroit ends up getting this, or gets stopped here. They punt the football. Baltimore ends up scoring, and the score at halftime is 14-14. But this was still a huge stop. It was only an 8-point game. Kind of a last-minute touchdown by Baltimore. But anyways, this is something Lamar Jackson and this Ravens offense is so good at. And what you see here is Jack Campbell, and like we keep saying, they don't let Lamar go north to south. They let him go east to west as much as they want. there are so many Lion players here that know Lamar Jackson is about to roll to his right. They watched this all week in camp. Once they get confirmation Lamar's got this football, everybody is on this right side. Now, it's, the thing is, Derrick Henry's actually about to get wide open, but this is all the way on the other side of the field. Aiden Hutchinson also sniffs that out. But Jack Campbell gets downhill immediately and forces Lamar to fumble this football. And now, they don't get the football back at the 2-yard line. They're at the, 20-yard line or wherever this ball lands. But Jack Campbell, once again, he had a phenomenal football game, and he's gotten off to a really good start in his third year. All right, here we go. This is Al-Qadim Muhammad's sack. Now, Detroit, once again, had 7 total sacks in this football game. 2.5 sacks for Al-Qadim Muhammad. We did a film study for him on this channel. It was our last video. We posted it on Friday or something. Marcus Davenport ultimately ended up hitting the IR. Al-Qadim Muhammad, people make fun of him because he's been on like 6 teams in 8 years, 5 teams in 7 years, something like that. People make fun of him, but he has really come to play every time the Detroit Lions have called his number, and there's so much that I like about this clip. First things first, Aiden Hutchinson wins his rep on the right tackle here, and he ultimately ends up falling. But he gets inside, and Lamar Jackson now has to, try and scramble. Obviously, I love the Al-Qadim Muhammad sack, but right here, number 53, when Derek Barnes wasn't the spy, it was Trevor Nowaski, and he does a great job. They show pressure, all right? So now the left guard can't double team. He's not able to get to Al-Qadim Muhammad. They're not going to triple team DJ Reader. He's just standing here doing absolutely nothing because Nowaski is... he's lined up at the line of scrimmage. You're going to see a couple like this. But he's acting as the spy here. So once Lamar gets off to his right, Al-Qadim is, coming running at him. They've got him squared, and they're able to just bring him down for a 4-yard sack. All right, here we go. Al-Qadim Muhammad's second sack of the football game. It's 21-21. We're halfway through the third quarter. And this ultimately, 2 plays after this, it's second down. The Baltimore Ravens end up punting this football. Now, he's going to get chipped from Charlie Orr here, or Charlie Kohler, who's going to get out here. It's a little bit play action. Lamar's scrambling to his right. Kohler's going to chip the edge, get out into space, and that's who Lamar Jackson's going to try and throw this football to. Al-Qadim Muhammad just gets downhill immediately and brings Lamar Jackson down for this sack. I mean, he really came out to play. Very physical player, very smart player. Dan Campbell, Calvin Shepard, these guys have only said good things about number 96, and he had a phenomenal football game, 2.5 sacks. The whole Lions defensive line did, but great job sniffing this out, getting downhill and attacking Lamar and making the tackle. So one of my favorite clips of the game because it's 28-21. Detroit gets a sack here, and then they get a sack on the play after this. So Baltimore's got to kick their field goal, and it ends up being the huge difference maker. Now, there's a couple of things we're looking at in this play specifically. First off, Al-Qadim Muhammad is going to beat number 79, Ronnie Staley here, left tackle for the Baltimore Ravens, and he's going to break this pocket down, collapse it enough that Lamar Jackson wants to get out of here. Now, he's ultimately going to end up getting wrapped by Nowaski once again, and this is going to count as a sack. And here we go. He's right here lining up, and he's going to simulate pressure, right? So what this essentially kind of does is it leaves the 77 in no man's land. Now, he's actually able to kind of help Aiden Hutchinson out or help the right tackle out, deal with Aiden Hutchinson. But Muhammad breaks this pocket. You've also got, Aiden Hutchinson over here. And then now Nowaski, no hesitations. Lamar, he's got one man to beat. Lamar's so good at doing this. He's one of the best, if not the best, running quarterbacks in NFL history. And Nowaski comes here and brings him down, and it is a sack, and it's a huge sack. So it's the very next play, 3rd and 13. They're on Detroit's 23-yard line, still 28-21. There's only 10 minutes left. And we got another coverage sack here. It's going to be Derek Barnes and Alex Anzalone doing the work here. We got Anzalone once again. He's going to simulate pressure. All right. Fakes back into it, frees up. Number 70 is now in no man's land. And what you have here is Aiden Hutchinson, Mark Andrews. Chips him, tries to block him. Running back comes on in here for some help. So now Lamar Jackson is going to try and get out into space. It's 3rd down. He's looking down the field. They need to pick up a 1st down. Alex Anzalone is spying him this entire way, comes in, tries to make a tackle, slips, and now you got Derek Barnes who's going to come on in here and all these other Detroit Lion players. Lamar's still trying to look downfield, sees nothing, hesitates a little bit, and Derek Barnes is able to trip his feet and bring him down for a sack. 0-yard loss, but now the Baltimore Ravens have to kick a field goal, and Detroit maintains the lead with only 10 minutes left in the game. All right, Detroit is not able to get a first down, so they end up punting the football. So it's 28-24 Detroit. There's 8.5 minutes left in this football game, and what do big-time players do in big-time games and big-time moments? They make plays. That's exactly what Aiden Hutchinson does. Gets a little bit confused here on this complex run play from Baltimore. Derrick Henry tries to get by. Little hesitation because Alex Anzalone comes on in here, and he just punches that football out of Derrick Henry's hand. And now DJ Reed is able to pick up this football. There's a better angle of it. Punches that out. DJ Reed falls on top of this. Now, once again, Detroit's got a really good opportunity to put this game away. They don't. They kick a field goal, and we got one more drive here for Baltimore, and let's get back into one more defensive play. Detroit kicks the field goal, so it is 31-24. Baltimore's got the ball again. Only 6.5 minutes left in this football game, and this right here is kind of the game clincher, the game winner, at least as far as momentum goes, in my opinion, because we'll play it out and then break it down. Aiden Hutchinson is going to get Lamar Jackson for a huge sack on first down, and what ends up happening is they try and dink and dunk the next two plays. Baltimore has to punt the football, and then Detroit, finally they get the game-winning drive. They go down the field. They score a touchdown. Amon-Ra has that huge play, and the rest is history. Now it's ball game. Aiden on our left side is going to go on the inside with Ronnie Staley. So he's going to beat him in. He's going to fake going out, beats him in, kind of gets held a little bit there, and takes this sack for Lamar Jackson. And this is game-changing. It is a big-time play and a big-time moment, and that's why Aiden Hutchinson being healthy is such a big deal. All right, folks, that's going to conclude our Lions defensive film study. Let me know if you guys like this style of content. As I mentioned, we're probably going to do a Lions offensive film study either here, the main Will Upton channel. I apologize. It's like 5 o'clock here in Florida. Today was a day I just could not wake up, so I feel very out of it, but hopefully you got some entertainment, something of value here in this video. Let me know once again if you like this style, changing things up. But that's it for today. Let me know your defensive player of the game from this, maybe Dan Campbell's best win as the Detroit Lion head coach. Huge game from Shepard as well, the new defensive coordinator. So that's it. Have a great rest of your day.